Tourism in Las Vegas is in a big slump this summer, costing the city billions of dollars. Some are saying that could signal trouble ahead for the U.S. economy.
Fewer tourists. Rolling the dice on a trip to Vegas, the Valley is now seeing a double-digit drop in visitors, especially internationally.
Fontainebleau announced some layoffs. Resorts World announced some layouts.
What do you think is the motive for the higher prices?
Greed.
$3.7 billion. Going up in smoke, Fontainebleau Las Vegas, the towering symbol of luxury and ambition, opened its doors in late December 2023. A hotel nearly 20 years in the making, with 67 floors, over 3,600 rooms, and the largest casino debut Vegas has seen in over a decade. Built at a jaw-dropping cost of $3.7 billion, this mega-resort was supposed to be a game-changer. Not just for the Strip, but for American hospitality as a whole. But less than a year in, the headlines are shifting. Layoffs, leadership exits, retail spaces still empty, and a reported daily burn rate of nearly $400,000. It's the kind of opening act that turns dreams into financial horror stories. So what went wrong? And more importantly, is Fontainebleau Las Vegas truly on the path to becoming a billion-dollar failure? Or could it still become the most attainable luxury experience in Vegas? Today, we break down the history, the numbers, and the high-stakes gamble behind one of America's most ambitious hotel projects. Part 1. The scale of a giant. To understand why Fontainebleau Las Vegas is under such intense scrutiny, we first need to understand the sheer scale of what was built. This isn't just another resort on the Strip. Fontainebleau is a skyscraper, 67 stories tall, making it the tallest occupiable building in the entire state of Nevada. It towers over the north end of the Strip, standing out with its sleek curved design and reflective blue glass. Inside, it holds more than 3,600 guest rooms, a 173,000 square foot casino, over 24 restaurants and bars, and an event space designed to host some of the biggest conferences in the country. There's also a 6-acre pool deck, a state-of-the-art spa, and a shopping promenade meant to rival any luxury mall. In total, the property stretches over 25 acres, a mini-city built for high-end entertainment, hospitality, and gaming. The numbers don't just stop at square footage. Fontainebleau's construction cost was over $3.7 billion. To put that into perspective, that's more than the cost of Resorts World Las Vegas and nearly double what it took to build Bellagio back in the late 90s. But what makes this project even more remarkable, or more concerning, is how long it took to finish. Construction first began in 2007, then came the financial crash of 2008. By 2009, the building was about 70% complete, and then everything stopped. What followed was more than a decade of uncertainty. Ownership changed hands multiple times. The structure stood frozen in time, empty, incomplete, and often described as the ghost of Vegas. It wasn't until the original developers returned and decided to finish what they started that construction resumed in full. In December 2023, Fontainebleau finally opened to the public. But in Las Vegas, where competition is fierce and expectations are sky high, simply opening isn't enough. From the beginning, Fontainebleau had to do more than impress. It had to justify every one of the billions spent, and it had to do it fast. Part 2. A rough start. But just weeks after its grand opening, signs of trouble started to surface. Fontainebleau, despite its glittering debut, was facing serious financial strain behind the scenes. Reports began circulating that the resort was burning through nearly $400,000 every single day. And this wasn't speculation. Within 3 months, Fontainebleau began laying off dozens of casino staff, including table game dealers, a move rarely seen so soon after a resort launch. Alongside the layoffs, key executives started to exit quietly. The chief financial officer, the chief technology officer, the director of food and beverage, all gone. And the luxury retail promenade, once promoted as a cornerstone of the experience, still unfinished, still empty. Foot traffic throughout the property appeared lighter than expected, even on weekends when other resorts were buzzing. While Fontainebleau struggled to fill rooms and seats at the tables, the rest of the Strip wasn't exactly booming either. In fact, overall gaming revenue on the Las Vegas Strip declined by about 1% in 2024, the third year in a row without meaningful growth. But Fontainebleau, with its massive debt and sky-high operating costs, didn't have the luxury of average. It needed exceptional performance to break even, let alone turn a profit. That's why the early layoffs hit differently. They weren't just cost-cutting, they were alarm bells. For a project that took nearly 2 decades to open, the clock was now ticking faster than ever. Some began to wonder, was Fontainebleau following in the footsteps of Resorts World, another billion-dollar resort that opened with promise, only to underperform? Or was this just the turbulence of a big launch, on its way to a stable landing? Either way, the hype was fading, and what remained was a very real question. Can Fontainebleau survive the brutal economics of the Las Vegas Strip? Part 3. Is it still a luxury experience? Despite the rocky start, not everything about Fontainebleau is falling apart. For many guests, the luxury experience is still very real and surprisingly accessible. Step inside the guest rooms and you'll find modern, minimalist design with warm wood tones, plush bedding, and high-end finishes that match, or in some cases surpass, what you'll see at five-star properties. The spa and wellness center span 2 full floors, offering treatments that rival top-tier resorts in New York or Los Angeles. The Oasis pool deck, stretching across 6 acres, is sleek, sun-soaked, and lined with private cabanas and cocktail service that lives up to the Vegas standard. And when it comes to dining, Fontainebleau didn't cut corners. From Michelin-starred chefs to curated cocktail lounges, the food and beverage options feel thoughtfully designed, not rushed or recycled. But perhaps the most surprising part of the Fontainebleau experience is the price. Rooms, even during peak weekends, are often listed between $170 to $190 per night. Compare that to the Bellagio, where average nightly rates often exceed $400, or Resorts World, which typically hovers around $270. That makes Fontainebleau one of the most competitively priced luxury properties on the Strip right now. This price positioning, paired with the upscale amenities, is what led the hotel to be accepted into Virtuoso, the global network for high-end travel advisors, in early 2025. For travelers looking to experience modern luxury without breaking the bank, Fontainebleau may actually be the most attainable 5-star option on the Strip today. Still, affordability can be a double-edged sword. Lower prices can attract guests, yes, but they can also be a sign of empty rooms and missed revenue targets. So while the customer experience feels elevated, the question remains, is this a strategic pricing play? Or is Fontainebleau simply trying to fill rooms fast before the financial pressure becomes too great? Either way, it's clear the resort still has a lot to offer, but luxury alone won't keep the lights on. Part 4, 3 possible futures. With so much at stake, experts are now asking, where does Fontainebleau go from here? Because while the decor may dazzle and the spa may sparkle, no hotel survives on aesthetics alone. The math has to work, and for a property that cost over $3.7 billion to build, the path to profitability is steep. Industry analysts have outlined 3 likely scenarios for Fontainebleau over the next few years. Scenario 1, stabilization. In this version, the resort leans hard into its non-gaming revenue, focusing on high-margin areas like spa services, fine dining, live entertainment, and large-scale conferences. This would mirror the strategy used by other Vegas giants that have shifted away from relying solely on the casino floor. With its state-of-the-art convention space and entertainment venues, Fontainebleau could attract major corporate events and become a destination for high-end leisure travel. Scenario 2, sell-off. Here the numbers don't add up fast enough. Room occupancy remains flat, retail spaces stay half-empty, and investors begin to pressure ownership to cut losses. Within 3 to 5 years, the property could be sold, possibly at a discount, to a larger hospitality group or even a foreign investor looking for a flagship Vegas presence. Given the prestige of the brand and the location, a sale wouldn't be the end, but it would mark a shift in vision. Scenario 3, breakthrough. This is the boldest outcome. Fontainebleau finds its footing, repositions its brand, and becomes the Marina Bay Sands of Las Vegas. a modern icon with mass appeal. It attracts global interest, packs its rooms, fills its theaters, and establishes itself as a full-spectrum luxury powerhouse. It's possible, but achieving that means overcoming massive financial headwinds and doing it in a market that's already saturated with top-tier options. Remember, Las Vegas hotel occupancy in 2024 hovered around 83%, barely changed from the year before. The city isn't hurting for rooms, so Fontainebleau must do more than just compete. It has to stand out. In a town built on big bets, this might be the boldest one in years, and right now all eyes are on what happens next. Fontainebleau Las Vegas was never meant to be ordinary. It was designed as a statement, a declaration that luxury, scale, and spectacle still have a place in the American hospitality landscape. And in many ways it succeeded. It rose from the ashes of a halted project, overcame nearly 15 years of delays, and opened as one of the most ambitious resorts in Las Vegas history. But in today's world, ambition alone isn't enough. Travel has changed. Post-pandemic travelers are more cost-conscious, experience-driven, and less loyal to legacy brands. They want value. They want flexibility. And above all, they want authenticity. So while Fontainebleau may deliver on aesthetics and amenities, the question isn't just whether it looks the part. The real question is whether it can survive the brutal economics of modern Vegas. Layoffs, leadership exits, and unfilled retail spaces are not just bumps in the road. They're signs of deeper challenges. Challenges that demand more than glossy architecture or a glamorous opening night. Because when you're burning hundreds of thousands of dollars a day, time becomes your most expensive enemy. Still, it's not too late. Fontainebleau has the infrastructure, the brand name, and, for now, a competitive edge in pricing that could attract a new generation of travelers. But to win in this market, the resort needs more than foot traffic. It needs strategy, agility, and maybe a little bit of Vegas luck. In the end, Fontainebleau Las Vegas might still become the success story its developers dreamed of, or it could join the growing list of billion-dollar resorts that failed to deliver on the Strip. Fontainebleau Las Vegas, bold comeback or billion-dollar mistake? Only time will tell.